James Buddy McGirt is sitting down with us right now. He's going to get his headset on. And Buddy McGirt, how you doing, my man?
I'm great. Thank you.
I told you when I saw you before, I was going to remind you. Back in 2012, I was at the Mandalay doing a week-long thing, and you had stopped by, and you came with a bunch of people. And you were the life of the interview. I don't know if you remember, but you were busting my you-know-whats. It had a glass in front of the studio, and you kept lifting your shirt. You're lifting your shirt up, and I'm cracking up. I'm on live, and you're making me laugh. And you never even put the beer down, too, while you were doing that.
Yeah, I can walk and chew bubblegum at the same time.
Hey, buddy, we've been talking a lot, obviously, about this fight, and one of the issues that I think was going to be an issue is you. I think that you're bringing and adding a dimension for Kovalev. I think if he fights smart, if he boxes, he could use his size advantage. What have you been going through in training with him to prepare him for Canelo? And I heard a quote from you saying that you're looking for Canelo to be coming after his body.
Well, I expect Canelo to do two things. Try to outbox him early, then attack in the later rounds, because he's the older fighter. So if that's what he does, then what we would do is just let him box, stay on the outside, score points, and then when he steps on the gas, we step on the gas a little harder.
It seems you've brought back the Kovalev of old in a sense where, he's trusting in his own talents and stuff. And he knows, one thing about you, I'll be honest, I think you're one of the most underrated trainers out there. I've always said, how I thought you were such a great trainer. And I think we're seeing it. I think the rest of the world is seeing it with Kovalev. When you tell a fighter, I'm going to stop this fight, that fighter knows that you're not BSing, that you're going to stop the fight. We saw it in his last fight against Yard, and he came out and won the fight. Does he know that he basically has to do what you're asking him to do, otherwise that's it?
Well, my thing is this, I don't want to see a fighter get hurt. Nobody wants to see a fighter get hurt, but I cannot be brave with another man's blood in life. You know what I mean? And in this business, unfortunately, it just takes that 1 second too long. And you can say I could have stopped it a round before, 2 rounds before, but that's something you can never answer. But at the same time, that's something that's always going to be in your mind for the rest of your life. I went through it with Max Dadashev. If I had stopped it sooner, could I have saved his life? I mean, I don't know. You know what I mean? And so it's a thing that it makes you study your fighter more, and you watch him more in the gym, and you watch everything. You watch his reaction to punches. And this way, look, man, I don't like what I'm looking at here. So if you don't show me something this round, I got to stop it.
I've always said that nobody knows the fighter better than the trainer that's spending every day with him. And you're 100% right. There's too many trainers out there that are real tough when their fighter's in there taking the beat. And they should know their fighter when he comes to the corner, if he's acting any differently or whatever, or if it's just fatigue. And you've done very well identifying that. And I think your own fighters respect you for it.
Well, my thing is this. I'd rather you be mad at me for 2 years for stopping the fight too soon, then your whole family mad at me for the rest of my life.
Yeah. It's a great point.
I can deal with the 2 years.
Right.
You'll get over it.
Yeah, you could even deal with them being mad for 20. At least he's still around for 20.
Hello, there you go.
Yeah. No, you're right. I see Kovalev, like I said earlier, having a chance of winning this fight. Utilizing his jab. He's naturally a bigger guy, stronger. Honestly, do you think he could win a decision here in Vegas?
Hey, this is my thing on that. I'm not going to go into the fight thinking about that. This is my thing. If we get a bad decision, the whole world would have seen it. And then the Las Vegas Athletic Commission is going to have to say to themselves, we got to change something here. Because eventually people are going to get tired of these bad decisions.
I think they are now.
And what's happening is a lot of these judges are fans. They're not there to say, okay, let's see who's the best. I'm a fan of this guy. So they watch him more than they watch both guys. And it's not right to the fighters at all.
You're right. I was on my way out here. I was happened to fly in with Steve Farhad, and I was saying to him that, years ago we developed lifelong boxing fans. Today it seems like we have boxing fighter fans, that they're more into their fighter, and when their fighter's career is over, who knows what they're going to do. We won't know that for a few more years. What this sport needs is lifelong boxing fans.
Let me tell you, I was in Atlantic City, and Turo was getting ready to fight, I want to say Duran or the last fight with Mickey Ward. And I saw one of the judges, who's a great friend of mine, and I went over to give her a hug, and she says no. I was like, why not? She goes, I'm doing your fight tonight, so please go the other way.
Wow. Nice.
I like that.
I'm going to say her name because I love her. She's great. Her name is Miss Melvina Latham, who was the commissioner also.
Yeah.
But she said, buddy, go away. I'm judging your fight tonight. No conversation.
Wow.
And you got to respect that.
That's why she's still in the sport.
Right. And I love her for that.
Imagine if Congress did that.
You know what I mean?
No political.
And then I'm working with a fighter, and he's fighting for a title. And that day, the promoter had me and the officials go to lunch.
Wow.
Like, I'm at lunch, and I'm like, yo, what fight are you guys working? And they're like, yours. I'm like, what? I'm like, man, we out to lunch together. We went on a tour. They had us on a tour bus. We going all over, hanging out. I'm like, so what fight do you got? They said, yours, buddy. I'm like, are you serious? They're like, yeah. I'm like, oh, my God, man, we're going to go to jail. So I told my friend jokingly in the dressing room, I went to watch him wrap the fighter's hands. And I said, if you knock us out, we're going to get a draw. He said,
Right. That's right. Sometimes you got to back him twice to get a draw.
And he was like, what are you talking about, buddy? I said, you'll see. I said, if it's close, don't even think you're going to get it. You know what I mean? And that's what happened, man. So it's crazy, man, but that's the way the fight game is. And is it fair? No, because you have people's lives, not only their lives, their career, how they take care of their family in your hands. And to me, it's just, they got to do something, man. Something has to be done.
You fought. You have a Hall of Fame career, obviously in the Hall of Fame, and even though it wasn't that long ago when you fought, but it's changed a lot, buddy. And today there's more emphasis on the A and B side fighter, and I think basically, what you're saying now. The judges seem to come out with that mentality, and I've seen referees too. I don't want to mention his name, but I've seen referees slap around the guy that's not supposed to win. Pushing him away, giving him the visit.
They mug him.
It's like, give me a break. And
extra
they push
shove.
him. Hey, none of this. It's like the Three Stooges. None of this, none of that.
Today in boxing, all you have to do is look and see who's standing in whose corner, and you know who's going to win the fight.
And it shouldn't be like that. It shouldn't be like that. And the same thing with the judging. We all know the judging criteria, but one of my arguments is that the order in which that criteria is judged should be etched in stone.
Right.
Because you might like volume, I might like power, and we're seeing these crazy scorecards, And I've seen a lot of judges where they're scoring rounds for fighters that are throwing punches. And even though he's not landing, they're still getting the rounds.
It looks good. They're like, wow, he looks good, but he ain't doing shit. I tell fighters all the time, so look, man, do this, do that. The judges think you're doing something, you ain't doing shit.
Right, I know. And all you got to do is have a couple of people screaming and cheering when you throw the punch.
You throw a feint.
Yeah, right.
Wow, what a jab. He didn't even throw the jab.
Yeah, no, I know.
Buddy, I just wanted to say congratulations on your induction, and
Thank you.
I wanted to say that I in that ring, it's quite beautiful.
Oh, thank you.
And I remember meeting you back when I was 17.
Nice telling my age now.
At a card at the Felt
Notice
Forum.
I kept that quiet. He's
At a card at the Felt Forum, Alex Stewart fought Lorenzo Canaday, and Edwin Rosario was on the card. Aaron Davis was on the card.
He's really telling he's
Kevin,
bragging now. He's
Kevin
bragging.
Kelly was on the card.
throwing you right under the bus is what he's
crazy.
doing.
Well, they don't have cards like that
We're all
anymore.
over 50
It was
now.
all New Yorkers. It was all New Yorkers, and I remember you were in the audience, And me and my brother were like, wow, Buddy McGirt's here. And we went over and shook your hand. It was awesome. And then we got to see you fight Pernell Sweet Pea Whitaker.
Then he comes to the
Garden.
fight that I lose. You see that?
Well, but
He's so good. I tried to keep him at it.
I'm
No, that's okay, man. Yeah, listen,
But
I don't
tell
take
you,
it
that
personal.
fight was amazing.
Thank
That
you.
was two of like the top fighters on earth at
Thank
the
you.
time. And I remember you were not 100% because you had that shoulder injury. Do you have any thoughts on Pernell Whitaker's passing?
You know, it's
and
a
just-
shame. It's a shame, man. You know, it's a shame when anybody dies. You know, and here's a gentleman who was one of the greats, but he doesn't get the recognition he deserves. To me, he only has one legitimate loss on his record, and that was to Felix Trinidad.
Yeah.
But by then, he was over the hill.
Right.
Everybody else, Oscar, Ramirez, Chavez. I mean, that was just ridiculous. You know what I mean? It's unbelievable, man. And back in the days when you used to go to Felt Forum, when it was called the Felt Forum now,
Yeah.
they got to bring in a guy with like a 12 and 20 record. But the only difference then was the guy with the 12 and 20 record could fight.
Yeah.
Right.
I mean, you didn't know if the guy with the 12 wins was going to show up or the guy with the 20 losses.
But he still fought 32 professional fights.
Right.
But today, if you get a guy 12 and 20, you're like, come on, man, this guy can't spell fight.
Right.
You know? And I saw a guy, this is no lie. And I don't like to talk about people, I mean, because, I respect anybody that gets in the ring. I don't care who you are. But this guy came in the gym, and he said he was 18-0. And everybody vouched for him that he was 18-0. When I saw him shadowbox, I said, I want to fight the 18 guys that he fought right now.
All right, that's a great segue for what I wanted to ask you. What I want to ask you, okay? Now, and I'll be honest, I'm not going to pull any punches. I blame a lot of what's happened to this sport, the way we are right now, to Floyd Mayweather, and the reason why is because he was successful, and I'm not, saying he wasn't a great fighter or whatever. But he was successful in the path he took. Now, everybody sees his success financially, his record, his accomplishments, et cetera, and they all want to copy it. So what happens is, we were talking about some young fighters that are on the card Saturday night that were here. They're fighting these nobodies. They're building up the record. They're not giving themselves a chance to get better, and they're believing all the press clippings. They think they're invincible. Doesn't that hurt the fighter?
Yes, because when he finally gets in a real fight,
Exactly.
he gets his head handed to him.
Exactly.
Floyd was different in the sense because Floyd could fight. I mean, there was no ifs, ands, or buts about it. And there came a point where he had to fight the best, and he did. When I was fighting, back, say in the 80s, 70s, and 80s, when you was fighting, they was building you up to get ready for those tough fights. I mean, you wasn't fighting all guys you're just going to run through. No. Every now and then you had 3 or 4 guys that say, oh, yeah? You think you're going to get this win easy.
Right.
You know what I mean? But now you see some guys, now you're like, how the hell did they even give him a license? And here's the funny part. They have records like 12-1,
That's the sad
20-1.
part.
It's like, who the hell did you fight?
Yeah.
But you know what happens now? A lot of them go to Mexico, pad their records, come back, and the fans are like, wow. I mean, he's 15-0. The problem in boxing today is that people, they judge fighters by their record.
Exactly.
And that's where you get tricked. I should tell my manager, I don't want to fight a guy that's 2-8. No. Give me a guy that's 8-0. Because the guy with the 2 wins might show up and then I might be in trouble. So I don't want to fight that guy.
Yeah, no, but I mean, it's like other sports too. When you're playing the better team, you rise to the occasion. And I think a lot of promoters and managers aren't giving their own fighters that opportunity. Plus, as a trainer, you want to see how they perform and if maybe we need to fight that level guy again before you say, oh yeah, I'm past that guy.
But they don't think. Listen, I fought a guy named Willie Taylor out of Virginia. When I saw him at the weigh-in, I looked at my manager. I said, "Are you serious?" He said, "You're going to jail, kid. You're going to hurt this kid. Let me tell you something." I hit this guy with a 1-2, and I went to turn around because I thought he was going down. Hit me in the back of the head.
Ooh.
He's like, "Where you going, buddy?" I said, "Oh God, I'm in for a long night."
Yeah.
And the fight went 10 rounds. I was like, damn. You know what I mean? So, I mean, it's just, I just think in boxing right now, you just got to make the fights a little more interesting, man. You know, because if not, you know, it's back now where it needs to be. For a while, it was dead. You know what I mean? But now it's getting back. You get fights like this, Canelo, Kovalev, where the best is stepping up 2 weight divisions to fight a guy. Now that's boxing.
I agree.
You know what I mean? That's what boxing needs more of. You know what I mean?
But don't you think the promoters and the networks should get this out of their mind, that you can't, you know, assume a fighter, just like you said the other way, you see a 12-0 fighter, the fan base has been tricked to think that that's a good fighter when they haven't fought anybody. There's nothing wrong with losing, especially a close fight, and I think that the network should be receptive to those fighters instead of saying, oh, he's got a loss.
Sometimes a guy that loses a fighter becomes a better fighter.
Yeah.
That loses a fight, I'm sorry.
If they learn from it.
They become a better fighter, they learn. Right, exactly. If they learn from it, and then bam, next thing you know, he's a superstar. But guys will be like, oh, you know, Floyd's 50-0. Okay, but guess what? Sugar Ray Robinson had a 90-fight win streak.
Yeah.
90.
Chavez was 80-0 before he lost his first fight.
Okay.
You know?
I don't know about Chavez. I'm just gonna tell you, Sugar Ray Robinson.
No, he's the best ever.
Who?
Sugar Ray.
Sugar Ray Robinson.
Yeah.
90-fight win streak.
Oh yeah.
And he didn't fight any bums.
No. Well, he fought.
And to think we can't see the welterweight Sugar Ray, that's because there's like no footage of those fights.
I mean,
One.
They're giving us the signal here. It seemed like the hooks.
I thought she was giving you the finger.
Yeah, that's what I was just gonna say. I don't know if she was giving me the single or the finger, but you know, I know you're busy. 2 things I want to ask you. One, how do you see the fight going? You know, obviously you're going to lean towards Cove, but how do you see the fight going?
I think it's going to be a very interesting chess match.
You do think it's going to be more tactical than a brawl?
Yeah.
Okay.
And my other question is there a rematch clause in this fight?
Listen, I stay in my lane as the trainer. When it comes to the negotiatings and all that, I don't want to know anything in case I ever get interrogated. I can honestly say I don't know nothing.
Well, buddy, I wish you luck on Saturday.
Thank you.
And I appreciate you stopping by with us. It was great seeing you again.
Thank you very much.
so much.
And, you know, I'm feeling, I keep telling him I'm going back and forth on this fight. And if Canelo can utilize his height and establish that jab, I'm sorry, Kovalev can establish that jab, it's going to be an interesting night.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
All right, buddy.
Stay out of trouble.
Yeah. James Buddy McGirt, who gets in trouble himself, you know, making me laugh here. But